it's New York City Reloader. Just wanted to go over a couple things with you guys today. I know I haven't made a video in a while. It's been really cold here in the Northeast, and with 4 nor'easters in a row and the temperature being so cold lately, it's been difficult for me to work in my workshop and put a new video out. So a little break in the weather today, and I figured I'd go down, and since I was going to be working today anyway, I figured I'd go ahead and make a video. The first thing I want to talk about is case trimming. I know I've made a video before on the ability to trim cases and the trim it too, but I have a couple other devices that I wanted to share with you guys and expound a little bit on the case trimming tools that I use, and hopefully you guys can take a look at these and see if they can help you with your reloading process.
Before I get started, I just wanted to make sure you guys are all aware of the reloadersnetwork.com, and you guys should sign up. If you're on YouTube and you want to be able to have a better connection with all the different reloaders and YouTube content creators for gun reloading and ammo, this is definitely the place for you. Great information, great resources, and really good connectivity with all the great content creators out there. As I mentioned, I wanted to talk about my methods of case trimming. Over here on the left, you can see my Dillon case trimmer. This is a 3-way trimmer, so it actually not only trims, but it also chamfers and deburrs at the same time. After you utilize this in a progressive fashion on the Dillon 650 or any other Dillon device that'll support this unit, you definitely put this in progressive mode. You can decap, you can trim, you can deburr, you can pretty much do resizing, everything you need to do in a progressive case mode. So if you have a 650 or any of the Dillons, this is definitely a good investment. Mine's currently set up for 350. I'm sorry, Dillon XL 650 right now, and it does a phenomenal job. I did ruin about 10 or 15 cases getting this set up and dialed in, but it's really dialed in now, and I've locked it in with the right lock washer, so she's set. So I can simply slide it in when I need to and go ahead and start making proper cases in a progressive mode, which is great. Nice to be able to it's nice to be able to decap, resize, and then to be able to swage and then trim. And the only other step you have to do after this, definitely important, is to then go ahead and clean your brass afterwards. Make sure that all the little brass filings that have got in there have been removed. Next, I'm going to talk about another trimmer that's out there. And let me just simply go to their website real quick. The product I'm going to show you now is a case trimmer from a company called the World's Cheapest Trimmer. I think that's what they call it. Let me just make sure. Yep, it's a World's Cheapest Trimmer. And so I've got 3 of them. I've got one in 308, I've got one in 300 Blackout, and I've got one in 223. This particular case trimmer, very cheap. They're about 23 bucks. And you can get them on eBay if you go to World's Cheapest Trimmer, or if you go to newhighpower.com, you'll be able to go ahead and see what choices they have up there and see if you can find a trimmer that'll work for you. Now, again, these are great. When I load 308, if I load 300, and some of the loads I do on 223, I need to do some things in smaller quantities, especially if I'm working up a small batch. And I want to trim them, and I don't want to really go and take out my big progressive unit and set it all up to do that. I'm doing smaller runs, so I want to be able to trim. Now with these units, you simply mount them to a cordless drill, and I'll show you that in a moment, and put the case in. And it's only going to trim the case. It's not going to deburr, and it's not going to chamfer. You'll still need a tool like this to be able to chamfer and deburr the case itself, and I'm going to show you that momentarily. I've got my power drill set up, and I've got my, as you can see, my World's Cheapest Trimmer and 308 caliber in here. And if I zoom closer, you should be able to see that there's a trimming head in there. And again, it's a flat trim head. It does not deburr, and it does not chamfer the case. You still need to do that with a tool like I mentioned a moment ago, like this one. And it's great for short run. It knocks it out in a heartbeat, and it's very quick and very repeatable. You'd simply take a case, so through this case is a 308, and you'd simply put it inside the drill. You hold the case, and you go ahead and turn the drill on while you're holding the case, and it does a really good job of trimming. The great thing is that there's no adjustment needed. These things are calibrated from the factory to be able to trim according to spec, SAMI spec, right out of the gate. Really huge. Obviously, if they get loose, there's an adjustment screw on here, so you can go ahead and adjust it. But I hit mine with Loctite so that they will stay exactly where they are. And I've done a few hundred cases on them, and it does a fantastic job. Again, I also have it in 300 blackout, and I also have one in 223. They don't have a case for 338 Lapua yet, which I'm looking forward to, but I do have other case trimming tools that will allow me to do that. I also invite you guys to go to blackwidowshooters.com, and they have a trimmer there called the Trim It 2 case trimmer. And the nice thing about it is it supports multiple cartridges, different caliber sizes, and they've got multiple types of trim heads. They've got a flat trim head, which is what I have currently loaded in my unit. It's a flat trim. You can see it's a little square block. And then in addition to that, I also have another head, which is a tri-way trimmer, similar to what the Dillon uses. The benefit of using this one over other ones is that it'll actually not only trim the case, but it'll chamfer and deburr at the same time. So it's a big time saver. I will say, however, that when you're using this particular tool, you do need to take some time to set it up properly. It's got a built-in micrometer and has lots of adjustments, as opposed to the trimmer that I mentioned, the world's cheapest trimmer. It's fixed. It's designed for the 308 case, and that's it, or the 300 or whatever version you bought. And the advantage is I can simply slap one of these smaller units on and start trimming a case and know that I'm getting the cases trimmed to SAMI spec without having to do any adjustments. So when I started trimming these, normally when I do a caliber conversion on my Trim It 2, I wind up messing up some cases until I get it right. So with these units, I pretty much am right on the money right off the bat. And with this unit, I have different versions of caliber. So simply in the front of the Trim It 2, there's this little bearing in the front that's designed for each caliber. Currently, I have located, let's see what I have in there. I have 300 blackout in there now. I also have, in here, I have a 338 Lapua. I've got 308 caliber Winchester, and I've got 223. So I've got four different kinds. And again, there's a flat trimmer in there currently, and I also have the 308 trimmer for it too. If I'm doing a short run, I would probably use the world's cheapest trimmers, and does a quick job. Again, afterwards I have to chamfer and deburr them, but does a very, very quick job. It doesn't take very long to chamfer and deburr. The Trim It 2, again, has every possible caliber. Again, I cannot get a 338 Lapua from them yet. Maybe they will come out with one, but they don't have one today. So I did have one for my Trim It 2, and that's where I trim my 338 Lapua brass. So all in all, great tools, great functionality, great tech support from all of these companies. I'm very, very impressed with the guys at World's Cheapest Trimmer with their units, and I'm also very impressed with the Trim It 2. The Trim It 2 doesn't just come with a caliber of your choosing when you buy it. It also comes with the tri-way trimmer, and then as an option, you can go ahead and buy the flat trimmer, which I use quite a bit. And it also comes with some tools to help you make the trimming job a lot easier. So regardless of which tool you go with, whether you're going with a Trim It 2, as I mentioned here, or whether you're going with a Dillon case trimmer, if you've got a Dillon progressive press, all these things will trim your brass. It really is about time, expense, and setup time. Again, Dillon took quite a bit of time for me to set up and get it working the way that I wanted to, but now that it's set up and locked in, I can trim 223 brass all day. Now, if I were to do another caliber, I would buy another tool head and I would buy another trimmer, and that the electric trimmer would simply knock them out. Nice thing too, also it has a vacuum cleaner attachment here, where it sucks out all the filings. Where the Trim It 2 has a captured plastic plexiglass case, which you have to slide off and drop the trimmings out of there. So it all works. These units essentially have a hole in the side where the filings come out of. And all in all, they all do a fantastic job. They all serve a purpose. But I would tell you that the World's Cheapest Trimmer has very much impressed me, especially at $23 a pop. I don't think there's a cheaper and easier way to do precision trimming of your brass cases faster or cheaper. Like, yes, you can do it in a progressive mode, and yes, you can go out and buy one of these trimmers like the Trim It 2, and I would definitely recommend one of these. It's got a built-in micrometer, so you can really dial it in perfectly. But I would tell you, at the end of the day, you will do some setup time, and you will damage and ruin some cases here. Not a big deal. When I ruin some 223 cases, I just chop them down to 300. But when I ruin a 300 blackout case, I don't really have much to do with it after that. So all in all, do your research, look at some of the tools that are out there, and find out what trimmer is best for you. I have a bunch of different methods. I have a bunch of different tools. I have a Lyman trimmer. I have an RCBS trimmer. But these are my go-to. And hopefully you'll take a look at those yourself and decide what makes the most sense for you.
I'd also ask you guys who watch my videos if you could do me a favor and please subscribe. And if you're on another website or another YouTube page, do me a favor, give me a shout out. It helps bring some traffic to my site. And I got a lot of videos I want to work on, but I don't want to work on them if nobody's going to watch them.